Do you ever feel like no matter how much rest you get or how much effort you put in, you're still running on empty? Like your energy is being drained, but you can't figure out why? The truth is, it might not be your workload or responsibilities that's draining your energy. It could be the toxic habits you're holding on to every single day. And most of the time, these habits are so ingrained that we don't even realize they're consuming us. In today's video, we're going to break down the most common toxic habits that are silently stealing your energy and keeping you from living your best life. From negative self-talk to constant procrastination, these habits may seem small, but they have a huge impact on your mental and physical well-being. So, if you're ready to reclaim your energy, refocus your life, and start feeling like your true self again, stick around. Let's uncover these toxic habits and learn how to eliminate them for good. Our first toxic habit is constantly criticizing ourselves. This destructive pattern of negative self-talk chips away at our self-esteem, creating a cycle of self-doubt and insecurity. But here's the twist. We often aren't even aware we're doing it. We've become so accustomed to this inner critic that it feels like a natural part of our thought process. But it doesn't have to be this way. Imagine if your friend made a mistake. Would you berate them relentlessly, or would you offer them compassion and understanding? Chances are, you'd choose the latter. So why not extend the same courtesy to yourself? Instead of magnifying your flaws, focus on your strengths. Replace self-deprecating thoughts with positive affirmations. Cultivate self-compassion. The next time you find yourself in the throes of self-criticism, pause, take a deep breath, and then gently remind yourself, I am enough, I am worthy. Remember, speak to yourself like you would to someone you love. Next up, the habit of constantly comparing ourselves to others. It's a trap that many of us fall into, often without even realizing it. We look at our friends, colleagues, even strangers on social media, and we start to feel inadequate. We see their achievements, their picture-perfect lives, and we wonder, why isn't my life like that? But remember, what we see online is often a curated snapshot, not the full picture. This habit of comparison only fuels our insecurities and dissatisfaction. It's like running a race while constantly looking over your shoulder. You're not focusing on your own path, and you're bound to stumble. Instead, let's learn to appreciate our own unique journey. Acknowledge your achievements, however small they may seem. Celebrate your progress, and most importantly, remember that everyone's path is different. There's no single right way to live your life. Your journey is unique, and so are you. Cherish it. Our third toxic habit is overthinking. Picture this. You're facing a decision, and instead of taking action, you find yourself trapped in a whirlpool of what-ifs, buts, and maybes. You're obsessing over every detail, every possible outcome, and every potential pitfall. This is overthinking, and it's a habit that can create unnecessary stress and prevent you from taking action. Overthinking is like a hamster running on a wheel. Lots of energy expended, but you're not actually getting anywhere. It's a form of self-sabotage that keeps you stuck in indecision, unable to move forward. It's like being lost in a maze of your own thoughts, where every turn leads to another dead end. The truth is, no amount of overthinking can control the unpredictable nature of life. It can't predict the future or change the past. It only steals your peace in the present. Remember, overthinking will not give you control over life events. It will only give you bags under your eyes. Next toxic habit is procrastination. It's the art of delaying or postponing tasks, often important ones, that need to be accomplished. It's akin to a thief, robbing you of time and creating anxiety in its wake. You see, the longer you put off a task, the more daunting it becomes in your mind. The pressure builds, the stress mounts, and the task that was once manageable now seems like an insurmountable mountain. But there's good news. You can overcome procrastination. The key is to break down your tasks into small, manageable steps. Instead of seeing one massive task, you'll see a series of smaller tasks that are much less intimidating. Start with the easiest step. Once you've taken that first step, you'll find that the next one is easier, and the one after that even easier. It's all about gaining momentum. Starting is the hardest part, but once you do, you'll find momentum. Another toxic habit is holding on to grudges. You see, grudges are like heavy boulders we willingly carry around. They burden our minds, hearts, and even our bodies, becoming a blockade on our road to happiness. When we hold on to resentment, we're the ones who suffer the most, not the person who wronged us. It's like drinking poison and expecting the other person to fall ill. But what if we told you there's a simple yet powerful tool to lighten this load? It's called forgiveness. Forgiveness is not about absolving others of their wrongdoings. It's about freeing ourselves from the chains of bitterness and resentment. It's about choosing peace over turmoil, love over hatred, and healing over hurting. Remember, forgiveness is a gift you give to yourself. It's an act of self-love and self-care. So let's start practicing it today. After all, forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. It means choosing to find peace. Our next toxic habit is maintaining negative relationships. These can be with friends, family, or partners. These relationships can be draining, sapping your energy, and blocking the path to your happiness. When you are constantly around negativity, it becomes a part of you, and it's easy to lose sight of your worth and potential. So how can we combat this? The answer lies in setting healthy boundaries. This isn't about pushing people away. It's about respecting your space and emotional health. If a relationship consistently brings you down, it may be time to distance yourself from the source of that negativity. This doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care enough about yourself to prioritize your well-being. And remember, the people you surround yourself with can influence your outlook on life. So choose those relationships wisely. Surround yourself with those who lift you higher. Another toxic habit is constantly living in fear and worry. This constant state of anxiety not only robs you of joy, but it also prevents you from fully experiencing the present moment. Imagine being on a beautiful hike, but instead of enjoying the view, you're worried about tripping over a rock. This is what living in fear and worry is like, missing out on the beauty of life because you're too focused on the potential pitfalls. So, how can you overcome this? One way is through gratitude journaling. By writing down what you're thankful for each day, you shift your focus from anxiety to appreciation. This simple act can significantly decrease your levels of stress and worry. Another technique is to focus on what you can control. Instead of worrying about the future, concentrate on your actions in the present. Remember, you're in charge of your own reactions and responses. Breathe. It's just a bad day, not a bad life. Our next toxic habit is gossiping. Gossiping, much like a wildfire, can cause extensive damage before you even realize it's out of control. It's a habit that can easily sneak into our daily conversations, often disguised as harmless chatter. But don't be fooled. Engaging in negative talk about others not only damages relationships, but it also reflects poorly on your own character. When we gossip, we sow seeds of mistrust and discord, creating a toxic environment that hinders our pursuit of happiness. It's like throwing stones in a glass house. It's only a matter of time before the cracks appear. Let's flip the script. Instead of spreading negativity, why not spread positivity? Compliment more than you criticize. Celebrate others' successes rather than dwelling on their failures. Remember, the energy you put out is the energy you attract. So the next time you're tempted to engage in gossip, take a moment to pause and reflect. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. Another bad habit is being addicted to social media. We're all guilty of it at some point. A quick check of the latest posts and tweets turns into hours of scrolling, liking, and commenting. But what cost does this habit come at? Too often, we find ourselves caught in a whirlpool of anxiety and comparison. We view others' highlight reels and measure them against our behind the scenes. This not only breeds insecurity and dissatisfaction, but also robs us of valuable time. Time that could be spent on self-improvement, nurturing relationships, or simply enjoying the present moment. It's important to remember that social media is a tool. Used wisely, it can connect us, inspire us, even educate us. But when it becomes an addiction, it's time to take a step back. Limit your screen time, engage in digital detoxes, and remember that life is happening right in front of you, not on your screen. Our final toxic habit is blaming others. It's an all too common reflex. When things go wrong, we instinctively look for a scapegoat, someone or something else to pin the fault on. It's easier to point fingers than to look inward and accept that we might have had a role in the situation. But here's the hard truth. This bad habit of blame shifting is a dead-end road. It stunts our growth and solidifies a victim mentality. Think about it. If we're always the innocent party, then we never have to change. We don't have to learn, grow, or adapt. That might seem comfortable in the short term, but it's a trap. It keeps us stuck in the same patterns, the same mistakes, over and over again. So what's the alternative? Ownership, personal accountability. Recognizing that we have control over our actions, our responses, and ultimately, our lives. Own your actions, own your life. As we wrap up, we want to remind you of the importance of breaking free from these toxic habits. The path to happiness is often obstructed by the unnoticed routines that we follow. The constant self-criticism, the habit of comparing yourself to others, the overthinking, procrastination, and grudge holding. The negative relationships we nurture, living in constant fear and worry, gossiping, social media addiction, and the tendency to blame others for our problems. Each of these habits contributes to a cycle of negativity that blinds us to the joy and fulfillment that life has to offer. But remember, you have the power to break this cycle. Replace self-criticism with self-compassion. Stop comparing and start appreciating your unique journey. Forgive, set healthy boundaries, overcome fear, and take responsibility for your actions. Remember, happiness is a choice, and it's yours to make. Start today, start now.